Alright, so this week I'm going to discuss two major topics and one minor topic. The major topics are going to be gatekeeping and how the typical American family has transformed throughout the years. And the minor topic, of course, is going to be the coverage of certain topics in the news. When looking at gatekeeping, I realized it's not so it's not as bad as I thought it once was in terms of how gatekeeping works. Initially, I thought gatekeeping worked as there's a maybe select five people who are just like, nope, we're not gonna let this go. Okay, we'll let this go, and that's not the case. Um, Gatekeeping is pretty much works like this. There's a certain amount of people who all feel like certain stuff should be seen, certain stuff shouldn't. Now, the reason why it's not why I said it wasn't as bad, or I meant to say that it wasn't as bad as I perceived it to be, is because we're looking at the representation within certain TV stations, TV channels. We're looking at that where there's not a lot of let's just say people of color or people of an ethnic background that are in those areas. So if you have maybe 80 people, 80 let's just say 80 white people, Caucasians if you will. If you have 80 people of Caucasian, and then you have like 20 people of color, then naturally the people of color are going to have less of a say. The 80 is going to outweigh the 20. So I mean it's not as bad as I thought it was, for the simple fact that it's a problem that can be fixed. It's not necessarily one iron hand stamping approvals and disapprovals. It's just a matter of simply we just have to become more active. We have to be active participants in this, and if we truly continue to find a problem in it, we're gonna have to get more involved and take up more of the jobs. Because, from my understanding, it is possible that you can have an influx of people of color into the TV stations. It's not like they're trying to meet. It's not like they have a cap on how many people of color they can hire. So when I look at it like that, I can't really get too upset. If not a lot of us are going into that field, how can I expect any different of an outcome? Um, the next topic that I wanted to discuss is the image of the American family and how it transformed over the years. When you look at like shows such as Leave It to Beaver, and we're gonna focus on Leave It to Beaver. When you look at Leave It to Beaver, you have your white middle class family. The mom stays inside and works, and that's all she does. And then you have you know, the dad. He goes outside and works. He's bringing in the bacon, if you will. And then you have the two kids. You have two kids, two sons, and that's it. They have the picket fence and everything. It's supposed to reflect in society. But in that show, you don't really have a fair representation. You don't see any people of color. The women, you don't see them going out and actually having a job. They're more so focused on the house. And then you just see how the image of the typical American family transformed, such as from that to such as Leave It to Beaver to, let's say, the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show, first off, it's an all black family. That's the biggest jump, if you will. And then you have a mom who is, a lawyer. You have the dad who's a doctor. You have, pretty much all the kids, dead set on going to college. And that was a big jump right there. And then you even today you have a show like Modern Family, where it's like you've included a gay couple on the show. which is something that's not done too often. You've included people of color, such as the gay couple has adopted a baby, and she's Asian. So you've included people of color. You've included a gay couple. Again, the wives. Well, yes, one of the wives. She has a job. And it's just like the way that it's transformed over the years to better accurately reflect society. And trying to, I'm not gonna say it's perfected yet, but they definitely have came a long way in terms of representation. Um, and again, the third brief topic which I wanted to talk about was the coverage of certain topics in the news. Yeah, if when you look at the news, you'll notice that typically, the news anchors are white, and that, and well, especially in certain areas, that a majority of the news, such as like the murders and the killings, they mainly deal with black people per se. And when you look at that, it casts a lot of subliminal messages, ultimately going back to the whole, white is right and black, well, black isn't so good. Let's just leave it like that. And whenever you have something like that, it sort of, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. It's just there doesn't reflect the best image. I wish, hopefully, throughout the video I can go back and reword that and make that clear to the audience. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go back and reword that, make it clear to the audience. Still on the same topic though, just a different route. I want to talk about Cocaine Cowboys, which again displays the coverage of, well, helps to go back into the coverage of news topics. They had, cops, getting paid off by pretty much crack money. They cops got paid off, lawyers got paid off, and a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of authorities got paid off, but it wasn't really in the news like that. But then you have a shipment of, or a mass influx of Cubans come to America, and all of a sudden, that's all over the news. Bad Cubans killing, murdering, raping, and all this other stuff, all this negative, activity, and it caused people to look at Cubans differently. And again, you have the Cubans, who did. I can't lie, it was real news. The Cubans did do a lot of that stuff, but it wasn't every Cuban, and the way they portrayed it made it seem like all Cubans. Also, you have your authority figures, which were not reported on the news at all, and that it shouldn't be like that in terms of the coverage in the news topic. So I got a little bit insight on how they cover certain topics, and that was pretty much what I learned this week was coverage of certain news topics, gatekeeping, and how the American family transformed throughout the years. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.